On this episode, we're talking about buying and selling during the coronavirus, how it's affecting the market, and how we can help.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Matt and Allie Show. We wanted to take a little time and just have some conversation about what we've been seeing going on in the past couple weeks, and what has changed.
Yeah, I know a lot's changed. And I think, our goal today is just to be able to provide a little bit of clarity and see, like you said, what we're seeing in the market. Just get an understanding and give some perspective when it comes to the housing market and maybe what to expect. Yeah, there's no doubt. I think things have changed a ton. If you look in the last 4 to 6 weeks, 6 weeks ago, we had record high stock market, record low unemployment, housing prices were up. So many good things were going on economically. And then we got hit with this unforeseen event, I guess you'd say.
Yep. And the coronavirus snuck in there. And we really are a lot more closer to home now than we have been. And that's changing things a lot. And I think what we want to do is just try to be the source for you, the questions you have. Mm-hmm. We're still working behind the scenes, maybe a little bit more, but we're still available for questions. And I think that's what we want to do today, is kind of talk about stuff like that.
Absolutely, because I think it's affected everybody in a really personal way. Everyone's life has changed significantly through this. And one of the questions that, we talked to a lot of our clients throughout the last week is we've gotten, how is this looking and how is this compared to 08? Are we headed for another 08? And I think that's where we have to start looking at it. And it's a completely different type of recession, I guess you'd say, that we're heading into with this economic downturn. I feel like this is almost like an economic quarantine, in a sense. I think everything has just come to a grinding halt, which really scares people for good reasons. People have been affected negatively by this already. I think take aside the health concerns from this altogether, right? Because I think that's one thing you and I are not experts on, right? The health stuff. Correct. Yes. This is obviously a very unseen, unprecedented event, and I think that we can't even speak to the health side. But what we can do is talk a little bit about how maybe some things compare to previous recessions and times. And I think going into this economic situation that we're in now, we're in a great position in the housing market. Supply was really at a huge low. Demand is extremely high. This is quite different than 08, right? So in 08, we had the easy subprime lending, right? Like anyone could get a loan type deal. Yep. So the banks were in a really bad position. Builders were outbuilding demand. I think there was 2 million homes built in that year. So the demand and the supply just weren't really matching up. And so as a result, the banks were in a really bad position, and it just really started a housing-centered recession, right? So I think that's completely different than where we are now. Banks are in a much better position. Supply has really been tight. Builders, they have not been building at the level that's needed to meet the demand. And so as a result, nationwide, and especially here, we've just been in a situation where, it's been a big seller's market, and the demand is just outpacing the supply. So that's pretty much where we are coming into this. So I would say that in this situation, the housing is not at the center of it. But what is unique is that I think that the home is at the center of this, right? Mm-hmm. Because of what we're faced with.
Yeah, we were talking about that and how, we still continue to list homes and buyers still continue to call and want to see them. Things are changing up a little bit on how we're handling those things, but, we're now in our homes. We're quarantined. Baseball's canceled. School is canceled, so now you're in your home and life is completely different. And we're kind of getting back to the basics, which is nice. So we're continuing to kind of just roll on and list homes. And even though we're at home, I think it's giving people a lot more opportunity to be in their homes and kind of look around and see, hey, maybe this is the time where we do a little bit of our landscaping that we've been wanting to do. Or maybe this is the time that we fix the issue in the bathroom, or maybe update the kitchen, or do different things, because you are home at this time. And I know when we go into people's homes, they're not always ready to list, and they always have a real long list of things that they want to get done. And this frees up a little time for you to be able to do that and getting the kids involved and showing them that as well. So So
Absolutely. I think that I can tell you we haven't spent this much time at home in a long time, which has actually been really cool. It's been great to have a little bit downtime, if you will, and take advantage of an unfortunate situation. But yeah, we had every night, it was like practices, games, all that. So we are home a little bit more. I think the other thing about our homes is that they haven't dropped in value like the stock market. I think everyone's watched their 401k, and it's tough to look at, right? All your stock investments and seeing the market go down 35%. Home values haven't gone down 35%, right? But I do agree with you. We're getting more time back in our day as far as ability to be home, and it is a great opportunity to do some of those things around the house and sort of check off those to-do lists and sort of get things in a little better shape and take care of your home in a good way.
And also, it's really bringing people together in our communities. I mean, the weather's been so beautiful, so we've been outside. The second we came out, some more kids came out on their bikes. We met people walking with their dogs. Obviously, you're still maintaining your 6 feet distance or you're being safe. But, these are things that, we've lived in our neighborhood for over a year, and we met so many people just walking, and they actually started a page for our community, which is a smaller community, just so everyone can stay in contact with each other. And our neighbor girls put nice little notes in everyone's mailboxes for, just encouraging words of wisdom. And it's just, in a way, it is nice to be able to see how we are all coming back together and we're in our homes, and you really have more time to focus on what you want. So when we come out of this, you're going to know on the end, if I'd been thinking about moving this year, maybe it might be on a halt right now, but what do we want to do when this gets better? And that's where we want to be here to maybe have those conversations with you over the phone now or virtually, so that we can plan for when this cleans up and you're ready to get back in the market.
No, I think that's a really good point, because everyone is in a unique situation with this, right? Like, we're all affected by this, definitely, in a broader stroke of things, but then everyone has a personal side of this story too, how it's affecting them and what kind of opportunities they're looking for. And so I think that the conversations that we're having over the last few weeks is that people do have maybe some concerns about the market, whether it's a buyer, whether it's a seller. I think they come into safety. I would say safety is a number one concern of people right now. Whether you're a buyer or a seller or even thinking about being in the market, how does the current environment affect you, right? I think that another part of it, which is a huge component, is personally. Like, how are the impacts of, these quarantines or sort of these shutdowns that we're seeing, how is it affecting people personally? How is it affecting their personal finances and things like that? And then finally, too, how is it you're going to impact the market, right? And I think, how is it impacting, home values as a whole and things like that? And I think that, when we look at it, I think that we could start broader and then come down, right? I think that looking at the home values in particular and the housing market, I think that what we're going to see is that the housing market will rebound quickly out of this. I think that there's some industries that are going to be, and this is in hearing a lot of economic talk. So, we've been reading a lot, listening a lot to a lot of experts that are in the housing industry and economists. And what they're saying is that the housing industry is going to increase a lot quicker than industries like the cruise industry, right? Or sure, restaurants and things like that. They may take a little slower time, but people have been cooped up a lot, and they will be as we come out of this. And so there's going to be a lot of pent-up demand. And I think that's going to then translate into a little bit of a rush into housing is what they're predicting. And I think, too, there's several examples as well of when you go into a recession that housing still does really well. If you take out the 2008 recession, which was housing-centered, housing values continue to go up in a lot of these tough times. So overall, we're still going to be in that situation of supply and demand being in a out of whack a little bit. It will be a little bit more of a balanced market, I think. But there's still going to be a lot of opportunity for people coming out of this. And I think that you'll see values continue to rise.
And really, we're really only in like one full week into this, but still, we put 3 or 4 houses on the market. How many do
I think the last week we put on like 5 houses on the market.
So those houses are continually, steadily having showings, and we're continually getting feedback on them. Yesterday, I negotiated 3 offers on one home. That's a lot. And the conversations having with the seller is, I'm going to guide you the best way I can in this, and each person is individually different. We don't know what's going to happen on the end of this. So is the offer that we got today the best offer we're going to get? I don't know. Can you wait? Do you need to sell right now? We just need to have the conversations with everyone so that we know exactly where you're at so we can formulate a plan for you. Because I know a lot of people are frozen and they're just kind of waiting it out. But if you are not one of the people that want to wait it out and you need to have the conversations, that's what we're ready to try to figure out a plan for you.
Absolutely. And I think when it comes to purchasing a home or deciding to sell a home, I think that there's some advantage to this time being a little slower. Because if you think about it, the decision to purchase a home is one of the most important decisions you're going to make. It's a huge financial commitment. And in the past, what we've been in a situation where people feel like they have to go ahead and they have to make a decision now. Like, there's multiple offers out there. I mean, this has essentially been the case for a couple of years now, right? Well, now, because the number of buyers out there has decreased a little bit due to this crisis, right? Maybe there's not as much competition if you're a buyer out there.
A little breathing room. You don't
exactly.
have to jump on it immediately. You can actually think things through, which is nice.
Yeah, you take your time to think, hey, is this the right move for me? Is this the right move at this time? In addition, the sellers may not be getting as many showings on their homes as they normally would in a typical spring market. So do you have the ability to go in and take advantage of some negotiations and maybe get things at a better price if you're a buyer? So those are some of the things I think that are advantages. But I do think that we have to be really clear and understand the crisis situation that we're in, right? And that's where it comes down to what you said, was having those conversations with people. I think if you're a person that is fearful of a job loss, or maybe you've already lost a job, or you don't have extreme certainty about your financial situation, I think without a doubt you should take a pause.
Absolutely.
Right? See how things are going to play out.
Well, we did have a situation where someone did come to me and say, look, we were going to move this year anyway. We took a really big hit. I'm not sure of what my employment status is going to be like. We don't know if we're going to be able to afford this house anymore. They weren't in panic mode, but they said, we're ready to sell. We've got to sell. Let's do it. So that in turn, we're there for that as well. If you think you were going to sell and maybe you were going to upsize, maybe now you're going to downsize, or maybe you're going to go into a rental. But again, it's still happening. We're still working. So we're ready to have those conversations.
Yeah, because as a seller, it may be on that side of it where, hey, this has really impacted someone's life in an extreme way, and they're seeing some signs that they don't like from a financial perspective, and they're saying, maybe I should go ahead and look at selling my house, right? And so for them, maybe it is the time, but then we have to take some precautions within that I think we can talk about a little bit later as well, that we're already doing, with our clients. But I think the bottom line on this is we have to make sure that we're having really deep conversations with you. If you have some questions about the market, if you have some questions about if it's a good time for you, for people that are maybe in a job with a lot of security, maybe you're in healthcare or you're a teacher or something like that, it could be a great opportunity to go in and take advantage of some low interest rates.
Yes.
Right. So the bottom line is it's going to be different for every person. And without those conversations, it's hard to get true clarity.
And we're really focusing on safety. And we're really pride ourselves on the way we try to evolve with things that are happening, with technology and everything. So we're trying to work on ways to be able to get people out there to see homes maybe on a different way. So we talked about, like, on the buyer side, I have some clients that we're doing virtual tours for them. So I'll show up at the house, make a really long detailed list of the itinerary of homes I'm going to look at for them, make sure they have an email of that, set aside time where we can FaceTime the client or do like a Facebook Messenger, so that we're face to face and we're walking through the home with them, essentially with them, but virtually. And I find that, with these, I'm pretty picky on homes, and I'll point out things from here or there that I see, like a cracked foundation or a poor roof or some kind of an issue. But it's even more important now. So really taking, your phone and doing a good video of those things, so that if the person wants to buy it and is fearful of maybe going into the home, we can do some of those things for you. And I know on the listing side, and we also have e-documents and e-signing and
there's so
like
many
that.
different things on that we can provide. Down to a buyer consult. We've done buyer consults via Zoom. Just doing video chats and things like that to get a good feel for what people want. And then, like you said, taking that phone around, going through not just the inside of the house, but the outside, the street, the area, everything like that. So we try and give people as great a picture and document as we can.
It's just like they're there, but, not.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then we are also in turn talking about like what listings, what we're doing on our listing side. So if, you still want to keep the agent safe as well. So, making sure what they're doing, make sure there's booties at the door and hand sanitizer and, having all the lights on when someone comes to view a home so you don't have to touch anything in the home, be minimal about that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good thing because we've talked with all of our sellers about this because we want to minimize any risk they have too, right? Mm-hmm. So for all of them, it's, first off, a lot of them were saying, hey, do you have a pre-approval letter, right? So that people coming through the home, they already have that pre-approved. They're not someone just looking around, mm-hmm. just browsing. They're actually someone that's very interested. They're in the market. They've taken the steps to be ready. Number two is leaving all the lights on. Like you said, leaving doors open, anything that can minimize someone's ability to get in and start touching things in the house. We definitely want to minimize that. And then all of our sellers too, they've been wiping things down. Some of them provide sanitizer, right at the door when they come in. So a lot of things to help minimize the exposure while someone's inside looking at the house.
It's just a different situation that we're in. It's unprecedented, but we're not going to stop. And we definitely want to make people feel comfortable with what we're doing so that they can continue to buy and sell.
Exactly. And I think one of the things that we've always been on the forefront from is using technology to our advantage and using a lot of different types of media to get our clients' listings out. And I think that's really paying dividends for a lot of them now. For a couple of years now, we've really been focused on ensuring that all of our listings have professional photos. We make sure that we always get measurements through an appraiser who then can provide a floor plan and a sketch. So essentially we're able to show people, hey, these are the pictures, but then this is also what the house looks like and the flow of the house to see if people think it may work for them, right? And they can do that just online. But really what's helped us a ton and really what's helped our clients a lot is through the video tours that we do. And these aren't just simple slideshows. This is where we get a professional videographer to come inside the house. And then Allison and I, we talk through the home. We talk about the features of the home. We talk about the things that we like the most, the things that are most marketable about the home, and really bring the photos and the flow of the home to life. Right?
And that is really helping when people are shopping virtually at this time.
Yeah. And so by being able to provide a high quality video tour of the home that tells everyone everything they need to know about the home, it really helps people, right? Look in online and get a feel for, okay, is this great? So it helps potential buyers, but I think it also helps our sellers in that we're able to provide as many resources out there to our clients as possible so that the people coming in, right, are going to be the most interested.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think overall, I think this is a unique situation without a doubt. It's definitely a huge crisis that we're facing, but I think that we're all going to come out of this, in different ways, pulling away different things from this crisis. But I think it's an opportunity, right, for us to do different things and connect with different people.
Sure.
So I know you were saying about like being in your neighborhood, seeing people, right, like meeting people that you haven't met. I think it's an opportunity to go out and do as many good things as we can. I think there's people that maybe have these pre-existing conditions or things that are underlying diseases that make it dangerous for them. So we always want to see what can we do to help those people? Like how can we have some outreach to help support those in our community that are affected or could be negatively affected by this?
We really are. We sat last night just at a bonfire and just looked around and said, I'd hardly take any time to look at my backyard. And I said, we're really lucky to have this. We have a really pretty view and we're sitting here and just so comfortable talking to a couple people that we probably would never have done before because we have been rushing. So really taking the time to get to know your neighbors in a safe way. And like we said, we have some elderly people in our neighborhood that would just if we just put a note in their mailbox or something on their front door that just says, what can we do for you? How can we check in with you? What can we do to help you? And I think I encourage people to do that for their communities. That Facebook page, like I said, is really going to be helpful for all of us to stay in touch with each other.
Yeah. Because I think together we can come together and do so much good. I think we're going to get through this, and I think it's going to bring out so much good in people, and it's going to help us all slow down a little bit too. Instead of running, it sort of helps us take in some of the good things about life, and it reminds me a little bit of when I was growing up as a kid. Like you came home and you really didn't go anywhere. We didn't go out to eat, things like that. We stayed home. Like I think giving our kids maybe more of that time, I think too, has been pretty cool to see.
They're adjusting too. It's taken a little bit, but we've been very blessed that the weather has been nice, so they can be outside running around and playing.
Yeah, we are good at that, but it has been an adjustment for sure. This homeschooling and all that is getting it's going to get real. It's going to get tough.
Yep.
But no, if we can do anything, I think this is what I would say too, is if that Allie and I can do anything, or anyone on our team can do anything to help anyone that going through in a situation, please let us know. I mean, that's what we're here. We love this community. We love our homes. We love our people around here, and just want to see what we can do to help.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I hope this was helpful. I know Allie does as well. I think that if you have any questions about the market, if you have any questions about what's going on, things that we can connect with virtually, please feel free to reach out. We're always here to help.